All right, something I need help with. I was talking to one of my family members the other day, super cool lady, and she said this phrase about church programs. Is the family supporting the program or is the program supporting the family? And that kind of burned into my brain, and I was thinking about the different programs that we have because I'm due for a rant on early morning seminary and how much I think that needs work. But there's lots of programs in the church, and some of them are obviously beneficial to the families. They help build, strengthen families, and then sometimes it does feel like we as families are putting effort into the program just to keep the program alive, even though it's not strengthening the family as much as it is a burden on the family to help keep this program alive. And I don't really care to mention which programs I think are there or not there. Here's what I need help with. There's got to be a way to evaluate the programs. And I'm sure people are doing this, maybe headquarters people, whatever, are doing this. But I think of people that run the doges and efficiency metrics and projects and different things. And I've been involved in projects where you have to evaluate the effectiveness of, for example, a product. So if we have a program and the program is a product and we're trying to measure how effective the program is towards strengthening the family, what would be the metrics that we would be using to determine whether or not the program needs um, expansion, contraction, demolition, decommissioning? What do we need to do with the program? So let's take one like Young Men's. Doesn't matter. You can take any program. So the Young Men's program. Let's try and figure out what metrics we would use to determine whether or not the program was strengthening families or if it was a burden to families, and what to do about that. So I don't know. Metric might be attendance. Metric might be engagement. Maybe it's how many boys are showing up with a good attitude versus like forced to be there. Maybe it's how many boys are leading young men's versus just being a follower, following the leader around. What metric do we use to evaluate the different programs? And I think every program, or we could call it group, would be should have some kind of metric, should have something that we're measuring to try and figure out how well things are going. Elders Quorum, Relief Society, primary, ministering, monthly activities, the Christmas dinner, ministering in the home, ministering to individuals, maybe like the people in the ward who have the most needs. How do you measure those types of programs that focus on those people? I think they call that like the compassionate service groups and stuff like that. Um, what metrics are there for those groups? And once you have the metrics, what do you do with them? So I'd be super curious to put some more effort into coming up with some of that stuff, those metrics, and then seeing how that would actually turn out. And I know not everybody thinks like this. This is me really interested in this. So if this is a boring topic to you, I'm sorry.